We're back again. Back again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For this video, the topic is why I made every single financial mistake despite having a financial degree. So let's work. Let's drop some nuggets. Let's drop some nuggets. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Blessed and favored to have you guys on. Just waiting for people to come on. Let's go. Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, that's good. What's good? I've got 30 minutes live and then we've got boxing. So let's work. hmm Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's good? What's good? Welcome on board. Welcome on board this live. Why I made every single financial mistake despite having a BSc in finance. Despite having a degree in finance, I made every single financial mistake that you could make. And we are on here today to talk about that. Let's work, let's see where you guys are, how you guys are doing, where you guys calling in from, where you guys calling in from. I want to get to know people in my life, let's add value. As you guys know, the only reason I do this calls is to come out here to add value to you guys. My journey has been one of hardship, it's been one of struggle, it's been one of learning, constant learning. And for me, it's very important that as I learn and as I grow, I can add value in any way, shape, or form. What's good, Jude? How you doing, bro? How you doing? Yeah, so in any way, shape, or form, I can add value to you guys. Because as I said, I made every single financial mistake possible. Every single financial mistake. And the worst part of it is I had a degree in finance. That's the worst part. I have a degree in finance, I have a master's degree in management, and I couldn't manage money, and I made every financial mistake there could be. So understand that everybody you see walking around in a suit and tie doesn't mean they are better than you, doesn't mean they are doing better things than you. Okay? I have learned from that mistake, bought a house, and the knowledge that I've gained on that journey, saving an emergency fund, feeding a family by myself, having a kid, those are things that you learn only by doing. You only learn by doing. And if you're lucky, by having people who are honest and truthful tell you the truth. And that is where we are now. We are here to constantly talk the truth. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you. Like, yeah, I went through that journey, right? I came out on top. Bro, yes, I lost 80,000 pounds, right? I lost 80,000 pounds. How? Stupid financial decisions. Listening to fake people online, okay? Jumping into crypto scams, right? Taking out loans, building up my credit score just to take out loans, just to blow it because of bad financial knowledge, right? There are principles of finance, there are principles of wisdom, and it's not by what you study, it's by the actions you take constantly. So for me, learning after all the things I have done wrong, I don't want any single person to be in that same situation. I don't want any single person to go through the situation I've been through. That's why I come out here every single day to try and talk about it, to try and inspire you guys to go down a separate path than the one I took to get here. I would have got here a lot quicker if I knew somebody like me 5 years ago. But not only knowing somebody like me, but listening to that person. Some of us, we know people, but we don't listen. We know the right person, but we don't listen. Our hearts tell them, our hearts tell you this is the right person, but that person is not flashy enough. That person is not flexing enough. That person is not driving the best thing. So why listen to them? Why listen to them? You go and scroll online and listen to another person because they're selling you something. And at the end of the day, you either learn from other people's experience or you learn from your own. And what I'm going to touch on today is the mistakes I made, how you can avoid it. The hood. I don't even know what that means. Do you wear? I don't wear any of that. I wear hoodies when I get hoodies. I don't check whether it's 100% cotton. But yeah, at the end of the day, the mistakes I made changed my life forever. Forever. I can't get back the time I spent working 100 hours a week to clear my debt. I can't. No, I don't, bro. I can't get back that time. So I want you guys to understand That whatever it is that you think you need to do, whatever it is you think you need to invest in, you need to do your research. And so for me, nothing I'm ever going to say is financial advice, but I am going to give you guys a few list of things that you should definitely not be investing in. And another list of things that you should definitely be doing your research into. And if you merge that with knowledge and a good foundation and long term thinking with the right combination with dedication and hard work, you would get to where I've got to a lot quicker and you will surpass me a lot faster. That's my goal. For those who don't know, my name is Ugo, Ugo the Eagle. And my story, as I said, has been one of pain, suffering, and sacrifice. Okay? I flew down into the dumps, losing over £80,000. And I rebuilt myself and I've just got back to bare minimum. But I was able on that journey to be able to save up enough to buy my first property. And that was a journey. I was able to take my wife to go and transform our teeth. That was a journey. We were able to pay off our cars. That was a journey. We were blessed with a son. That has been a journey. But we are not better than anybody. And we're just getting started on our journey. And my thought process now, looking back, is if I know the things I know now, what changes would I make? What changes would I have made? Where would I be now? I'm 29 years old. This is my last year in my 20s. So, for whoever's listening to me, whether you're 29 yourself, 25, 20, it doesn't matter. If you're listening to me today and you actually pay attention, the nuggets I'm going to drop are off the cuff. But I guarantee you, you will gain something because I'm not just a pretty face. I am a person who's been through struggle. So let's get through it. Number one. Number one is the start of everything. Know your why. A lot of people like to hate on this because it's all this motivational floppy duffy shit. But you have to. When I was 24, jumping into network marketing, thinking I was jumping into trading and thinking I knew what I wanted to do, my why was to drive the fast cars, you know, to go on trips, to spend lavishly, and to be popular. I didn't know anything about investing. That was my why. Today, my why is to be able to provide for a family, right? To be able to provide for my wife, for my child, for my family, for my mom, for my dad, for my siblings. And understanding where I am now, I understand the value of money so much more than I ever did. And the funny thing is, when I was doing my degree, they touched on the time value of money. And that's one of the biggest principles in finance, time value of money. And all it states is a pound today is worth more than a pound tomorrow. That's basically what time value of money is. Because as time goes on, the value of the pound you've got decreases. Time and money, a lot of people say time is money, but that's not true. Time is infinitely more valuable than money because no matter how much money I give you, I can't buy the time you've got. And if I gave you £1 billion, you will not trade it for your life. So that's number one. So you have to know your why. Number two, you have to humble yourself. You have to humble yourself. You have to find a way to understand, where am I going? How do I get there? Who can get me there? And how can I get them to take me there? Where am I going? How can I get there? Who can get me there? And how do I get them to accept to get me there? That's the only thing that matters on your journey. You need to find a way to realize, where is your starting point? How do you accept the reality of your starting point? And for me, when I realized I needed to do this, I woke up and my starting point was minus £80,000. I was in debt of £80,000. That was my starting point. So for anybody whose starting point isn't that, or isn't up to that, you're already in a better position than I ever was. But not only was that my starting point, I am an immigrant. So I was in £80,000 of debt as an immigrant in a country like the UK, where I didn't have the work experience and the skills to go into high income fields. So I had to understand that the only thing I could do was to use what I had. And the two things that I had were time and my limbs, which means I had the time to go and work, and I had the body to be able to go do the work. So, what does that mean? I looked around myself and I was like, I'm in £80,000 of debt. I have a master's degree in sport management. I can't get a job that will clear this debt with that degree. My dream was to become a footballer. Well, that ship has sailed. My belief was I would make millions trading. Well, that's what got me into debt. Trading on crypto. Well, that got me into debt because I didn't have the education and because I wasn't putting in the effort to learn it before I lost all the money. So that was my reality. So I didn't have the opportunity to take another career path. So if you've got the opportunity to take another career path, that's big ups to you. I did it. So I had to make a decision that with all my degrees and all my dreams and everything that I thought and wished I could become, I had to sacrifice it and get to work. So I went into the toughest fields. I started working in healthcare and I was working in Tesco. Right, I was a shift. I've done everything. I worked in KFC. I worked in Tesco. Pick what's it called? Arranging shelves. Right, and then I started doing care. Then I moved into support work, and I started working. I could provide myself in exchange for money. So I had to give my hours of the day, 15, 16 hours of the day, to make minimum wage. But I accepted that because that's all I could do. I was in £80,000 of debt. I had no way to make a choice of a career. That was my truth. And a lot of people don't. accept the reality of their lives. And a lot of people think that by accepting the reality of your life, you're basically killing yourself. But that's not true. The best thing you can ever do for yourself is to genuinely accept where you are. Because it's the day you accept where you are, that's the day you can love who you are at that particular time of your life. So I stood up and I looked in the mirror, and as of that time, I had six pack abs, right? And I liked what I saw in the mirror, but I was owing 80,000 pounds of debt. So I said, right, I'm going to work 100 hours a week. But because I'm going to work 100 hours a week, I can't go to the gym to keep this body up. I don't have the time to cook to keep this body up. So I am going to sacrifice my looks to go make the money. I I went from being the vice president of my students' union, being known for the guy who was big in network marketing and doing trading, to working in the healthcare sector, cleaning and looking after people. And that was what fed me and my family. So anybody who tries to downgrade any type of job, I don't have time for them. I worked 100 hours a week for 5 years. For 5 years. Now I look back, and the truth is, I could have taken another path, and that would probably maybe be, you know, continue risking, or maybe go down the path of getting a good job and working and building my career up. But in my head, I did not have the time for that. I wanted to clear that debt. The Bible says the borrower is slave to the lender. And at that point, I got sick and tired of carrying that debt on my head. So I said, enough is enough. I have to clear this, and I have to do whatever it takes to clear it. So I did whatever it took to clear it. So I started working and I started grinding. Now, on that journey of working and grinding, I was then able to actually start studying because I didn't have the money to risk. I had to really study. So I started studying, learning about the financial markets, learning about investing, learning about how the mind works, learning about personal finance. And I kept on studying and studying and studying. And this kept on going. I kept on studying, and my mental kept on pushing forward and forward and forward. I want you guys to be able to understand that for a regular person like me to come out and clear 80,000 pounds, if I can do it with everything I had stacked up against me, whatever you're going through, you can get through it. You just have to believe. You just have to see the vision.